This is RamolaD. It's August 14, 2025. It's 12:47 p.m. And I'm making this report. I guess it's News Report 13. Just to report a couple things. One is, the past few weeks I've been absolutely mauled on my right knee, which has also been shifting to my left knee. The characters parked around me belonging variously to the CIA, the CCP, the IDF, Quincy Police, Quincy District Court, and various other countries. Apparently a lot of countries have been permitted to come and test their controlled equipment on our American bodies. A complete and abject crime, an atrocity, a crime against humanity, to add to the CIA's crimes, because they're doing the very same thing, all in the interests of big data production, brain data stealing. They call it brain data, but it's actually your intellectual property, your thinking, your creating, your imagining, your writing, your reading, you're speaking to yourself. So DARPA CIA has been practicing its wiles of IP theft and brain attack on me for quite some time now. And they've added to their little platter of assaults and abuses on the human body, electrical pulse assaults on my right knee, which I've been reporting in reporters' notes for quite some time now. So I wanted to put this on video. I'm obliged to use all sorts of shielding around me, as I can't survive otherwise. I'm being blasted in the face. My face is currently swollen and inflamed, but I usually try to throw the Reflectix roll over my head so I get some shielding in front. So I'm going to keep it off for just this for a few moments while I finish my report. So one, I want to report that I've been massively attacked on my right knee with a variety of exotic weapons, including nanosecond electric pulse generators, which I have noticed from the Air Force documents is an Air Force weapon, but which I also noticed from looking online has been released to the general public, as it's in the public domain. It's not in these declassified documents that I'm still struggling to report, because these characters are trying hard apparently to disable, murder, mutilate, disfigure, and kill me before I get to that report, which I'm still struggling to complete. It's halfway done. Various parts of it have been submerged and hidden away. I'm still working with WordPress to get all my drafts back, and I hope to release the document possibly in 2 or 3 weeks, but not obviously if my knee is broken, or both my knees are broken and I can't do anything. So that's what's been happening the last couple of weeks, and I figured I have to do something about it. I'm in the business currently of writing yet another letter to the Senate Intelligence Committee and to various other committees, the Senate Judiciary Committee, the Senate Armed Services Committee, the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee, and again to the Director of National Intelligence, to both of the Attorney Generals of Massachusetts and of the United States, and various other parties, the U.S. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and the the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Secretary of State, William Francis Galvin. I want once again to remind them that I'm being battered to death. This is not normal, this is not acceptable, and they need to do something to stop it. They need to stop these classified experiments under which cover the CIA, various special ops from all of the forces, that's the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force, are operating crimes of atrocity on humans, saying that they want to map the brain, map people's neural networks, understand their brain processes, and so on. So they're understanding brain processes by subjecting people to massive physical assault, physical damage. Well, I'm sorry, I didn't sign up for this. I'm not a volunteer. I've never been a volunteer, and I demand that it be stopped at once. So I'm in the business of writing a letter this morning, and of course, as I was writing, I was being hit in the back of my head from the Mazeos. Their house is just past that window over there, and from the Chandler Mings. Their house is on that side. And now we've got the CIA USPS truck parked outside the oak tree in front of this window in front over here. The last few days he's been coming over there and banging his truck, and these people have been throwing LRADs on the shielding. You know, what the hell? They're trying very hard apparently to scare me, to terrorize me, to use sound, and to stop me from doing what I'm doing, which is reading and writing. Very simple. So that's my first report. I'm reporting that I've been positively massacred on my right knee. The antagonism, hostility, and crime spree around here has been absolutely out of control. I've made some recordings of some of these characters. I will be posting all of them. I'm being hit right now on my left foot. So these characters, they have lost all perspective. They seem to think I'm under classified cover with them. Well, no, I'm not. They're trying very hard to keep me under classified cover so they can simply bludgeon me to death. Well, I'm sorry, you cannot do that. I am a journalist, I am a writer, I am an author, and I don't lose these personae or identities just because the CIA decided it wanted my brain. I'm so sorry, you can't have my brain. You can't have my brain and you can't have my body. The CIA has done all sorts of other things, as people know, cloned my husband, cloned my daughter, and has been gaslighting me for years. Has drugged me ever since they dragged me to South Shore Hospital, Weymouth, on December 2022, and then incarcerated me. Traumatized me extensively that day, dragging me from one place to another, shackling me at the courthouse lockup at Quincy District Court, and then getting Brewster Ambulance and the sheriff, the Norfolk County Sheriff, to take me to South Shore Hospital, where I was knocked out almost immediately. Kept knocked out various times. I came to several times. I kept getting knocked out. And then was sent off to another hospital on another Section 12. So the Section 12's all fraud. The mental health department is running massive fraud on the people of Massachusetts, just as the departments of mental health in every state are running massive mental health fraud on people. This is their way of grabbing people for their black operations, for their little classified operations, where they assault you physically, give you massive amounts of pain and suffering, torture and abuse, in order to apparently map your neural networks and see how your brain functions. Now, I don't really know the connection, because it seems to me my brain doesn't function at all under pain and suffering conditions, which is currently the case. So I'm getting this message out while I'm still alive. I might be bludgeoned to death any minute, today or tomorrow, because they're doing so well at breaking my knees and not stopping. So they've been using nanosecond electric pulse generators on my knees. They've been using radio frequency high-powered microwave weapons on my knees, both pulse wave, that's pulse shots, which I can hear in my sound shield, and continuous wave, which is sort of like a seeping, horrific, negative energy thing that grips you in its wave format and makes you ill. In addition, I've been hit on my shoulders, and I have actually published this online. I think Arthur Furstenberg must have been killed in this way. Hit on my shoulders for extreme debilitation, weakness, and muscle fatigue. Hit on my spine with extreme heat, both during the daytime and at night. It's very hot. I've got all the vents closed up, not this one over here, it's fallen off. But I've got all the vents closed up in the entire house. I don't have the air conditioning on, because the house has been broken into and the HVAC system has been compromised with canisters of ghastly CIA malodorants. Horrific smells, dead rat smells and mold smells, and actual mold being sprayed in. So I've been closing the vents to save my life. So in this situation with no air conditioning, extreme heat, I'm sitting upstairs with a fan on. I have a fan over here and surviving with the fan. I'm being blasted in the face with extreme heat from directly opposite where the Starsiak people live, the 153 and 151 Pine. Those are the police parties, simply blasting me in the face with radio frequency high-powered microwave weapons to make me sweat continuously and to make my skin inflame. Similarly over here with their 5G on their ceiling over there, if you can see it, they've got parallel lines on the chemtrails these days. They do want to flatline me, I'm sure, but they can't. It's much easier to stop what they're doing. Why don't they just stop what they're doing? They can stop the ghastly industries of crime of attacking me and everybody else, and stop torturing, murdering, abusing, and killing us. That might help them in their next life, which might occur very soon. I mean, who knows, right? What might happen to them? Do they ever think about that? All of us think about it, right? We might die today or tomorrow, but they don't. They're not likely to die today or tomorrow and meet their maker. I'm afraid their maker is not going to be very happy with them. They might be rolled up in hell. They might have to burn in hell. They don't seem to care. I'm very surprised. They do need to think about it, every single one of them. Yeah, I'm talking to you, CIA criminals. So I'm burned with 5G as well. That's another effing weapon that's being used on me. And all sorts of skin burn weapons, skin paralysis weapons. You know, every single exotic little weapon that they've got in Israel, in China, in the local police station has been taken out and been used on me over the past month and over the past couple of days. So in any case, that's the big news I'm reporting. I'm going to be writing yet another letter, and I posted all of my 2025 letters, or at least most of them, on my letters page on my website. I did post a link in my reporter's note from yesterday, which is reporter's note 138. So the other thing to report is the city of Quincy has stopped responding to me. After they came and tarred the street in front over here, and after they completely cut and razed the native plants growing on this native strip over here in front of our street, they refused to respond to my letters of request for information under the FOIA Act regarding who did this and why did they do it. And you really can't do this to me. Why exactly would the city of Quincy, the Quincy Police Department, the Quincy Parks Department, why would they want to continuously harass me? What's going on there? So I didn't get any response. It's around July 15th, I think, that I sent the last FOIA request. So I've simply published my letters and under the 2025 heading on the letters page. So I don't understand why the city of Quincy is not responding, but they did come with their tarring operation, and they put a big square of blacktop between 153 Pine and our house, as if to tell me this is a black operation, and the police cross the street, police CIA, they can do anything they want, they can maul you to bits, they can murder and kill you, and you can't say a word, you're going to be muffled for life and snuffed out, and you have to stay in your little corner there and not say a word. So this is all blacktop, and do you get it? So in any case, I'm reporting that this was done to me. I'm being stifled, I'm being suppressed, repressed, oppressed, and being kept from speaking. That's correct. I'm being kept from communication with the outside world. My phone has been jammed. I haven't been able to speak to my father for over 6 months, since before Christmas. I couldn't wish him for Christmas or his birthday. He's 92 years old this year. And yeah, we're all being punished because the CIA wants my brain. And these guys over here next door who go out onto their deck and fry their dead animals on the grill wearing a PETA hat are perhaps trying to tell me that having stood up for PETA and PETA's protest operations and against the cruelty to animals and cruelty to primates, maybe 30 years ago, my last PETA protest sign holdings were literally 30 years ago. But I'm supposedly a PETA activist, and it's bad to be a PETA activist? I don't think so. I encourage everybody to join PETA and become activists against cruelty to animals. Please teach the police a thing or two. Please teach every hunter a thing or two. They shouldn't and can't kill animals. They really shouldn't torture and abuse animals. And this is why. This is why they're torturing and abusing humans. They go around killing animals, eating animals, and they think it's perfectly okay to kill and eat humans. I understand Bill Gates is cannibalizing humans somewhere in LA or wherever he is, and a lot of these other maniacs. So in any case, the point is, the police mechanism in this country, Homeland Security, cannot stand against activists. This is lawful protest, lawful dissent, lawful activism. All of us have a right to express ourselves, to express our minds, to stand up for others and to help others, which is what activism is all about. So they can't throw you in black operations, they can't take your head, they can't torture and abuse you. So obviously I'm speaking out for that reason. At least I'm hoping that this recording goes through. What else? Oh yes, I wanted to actually put out a little heads up for people to read the article on my front page currently, which is about the mental health fraud-running crime cartel all across this country. The departments of mental health, all of the mental health advisory councils and committees who are being now interviewed on CNN and so forth. As we saw yesterday, the woman from the University of Chicago, supposedly a policy advisor to the governor of Illinois, they've managed to pull off mandatory school screenings for mental health for children. Everybody in Illinois should be leaving the public schools. Remember that the word public doesn't mean anything. It's still private. Every school is private. The entire public school organization is a private corporation. All of them are private corporations. This is their particular cult, their cultic thinking, and their wrongful operation in terrorizing and abusing children. The intention over there is nothing but flagging children, as this woman, Dr. Dana Weiner, herself said on CNN yesterday. They want to flag children, they want to pigeonhole children, and they want to quote-unquote diagnose children. Diagnosis is another activity that needs to be torn down. It is an activity of fraud and crime. Psychiatrists are committing crimes against people. They're wrongfully calling people mentally ill, which is a means of ostracizing people, of stigmatizing them, labeling them, force medicating them, ostracizing them, and casting them out of normal society, of asking others, soliciting others to see these people as outside comprehension, outside credibility, and outside acceptance. So I have been subjected to these actions of non-acceptance, ostracizing, and shunning by Quincy police several times through the year 2022, when I was captured twice and subjected to this kind of activity and action in three of the hospitals of the Boston area to which I was taken. Stewart County Hospital, which is since closed down for other reasons. It sounds like they've been called to book for various causes. It's never very clear why, but in any case, they ran a shoddy operation, and I have written extensively about it. The other two hospitals are South Shore Hospital, Weymouth, and the Stewart County Hospital is in Dorchester, and the Bournemouth Hospital in Brookline, Boston. So all of these hospitals like to call people who are brought in by the ambulance and police mechanism that they've got going here through their contracts for the CIA, for DARPA, for the DOD, for these black experiments. They like to call these people completely mentally ill, delusional, incredible, and so on and so forth. And I was subjected to that. I've written about it, and I will continue to write about it. But the thing to convey is, people shouldn't be afraid to openly speak of the mental health departments and of the police departments that are working with them as engaging in fraud. These are matters of fraud and crime. To take somebody who's perfectly sane, who's perfectly aware, who's perfectly intelligent, and perfectly functional, and to call them mentally ill, and to force medicate them. And not merely to call them mentally ill, but to move them along a ladder of mental illness labels. Because the other side of this, as many of us know, those of us who have been keeping up with this, and those of us who have been, subjected to it, as I have, the other side of it is the armed forces, the criminals in the armed forces, the special ops bureaus in the armed forces, the TSSCI guys, who are trying to keep all of this undercover. These are classified crimes, classification to conceal crimes. That's what this is. So these special forces, these military neuroscientists from the Navy, from the Army, from the Marine Corps, and from the Air Force have been working with psychiatrists to develop weaponry, radiation, spectrum, and sound weaponry, acoustic weaponry, and acoustic neurotechnology, as well as sound, a lot of sound weaponry. A lot of this is being done with sound. To use these weapons on people to invoke or provoke the symptoms that are written up as classic symptoms of different forms of mental illness or mental disorders. Behavioral health disorders is now a new term they've come up with, a very MK Ultra, from their DSM, their Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Disorders. All of these are concoctions, they're cultic concoctions of a bunch of men, a bunch of authoritarian men, especially seeking to subjugate, repress, oppress, and disappear the brains of women, as well as take the brains of women. Yeah, I think a large part of these black operations against women have been entirely to remove women's brains. They want women's brains. They don't want women to have brains. They don't want to acknowledge women in the workplace. They want to subjugate and dominate women. That's the kind of cult we're looking at, a cult of misogynistic, chauvinistic, assholic men. So that's, I think, who runs the DMH and who runs the military neuroscience in all of the special forces and the CIA. And people shouldn't be afraid to speak openly about it. I encourage everybody to speak openly about it, and I will indeed be doing the same, and I will be writing much, much more about it. Anyway, this is News Report 13. This is RamolaD. It's August 14, 2025. I do hope to continue surviving, and I do hope to continue speaking. Nobody should be treating me like this or treating anybody else like this. I'm being literally murdered in my own home and being bludgeoned to death with a variety of highly exotic radiation and spectrum weaponry, which these characters are continuing to fine-tune to make them more and more insidious. And what are they doing? They're provoking illness and disease in the human body. That's what they're doing, in addition to provoking the symptoms of mental illness. They want people to be dragged to hospitals and tell the nurses there, oh, I heard voices, I see things. I mean, literally, the psychiatrist over there will ask you, are you hearing voices? Are you seeing things? And then they write down psychosis when you say no. And they knock you out at the same time. That's what happened at the last place. That was December 2022. It's never going to be repeated. Nobody is ever going to drag me to any hospital ever again, and nobody is ever going to knock me out ever again. And nobody is going to subject me to that kind of crime ever again. And I'm here speaking and writing to end this crime. It is an absolute crime against humanity. It is an atrocity. People need to wake up. And everybody who's undergone this, who's been subjected to this, write an affidavit, write a statement akin to an affidavit if you are private like I am. Write a testimonial and publish it. Make videos, keep logs, keep speaking about it, and write to these Senate committees, write to every single one of these senators. Not your own senators, perhaps. I've written to the senators in Massachusetts. I don't hear back. Now, why am I not hearing back? Is that because the CIA is playing middleman in the middle and disappearing my emails or their emails to me? Is anything I write ever reaching its destination? I don't know. But I have to continue writing, and I will continue writing. But the fact of the matter is I'm not hearing back. I did write to Senators Elizabeth Warren and Ed Markey again very recently, after 12 years of them not responding. I informed them in 2013 and 2014 when this crap started happening to me. But right now I've written to them, I haven't heard back. So I'm not going to be writing to them. They're not going to be on my list. If they want to behave like people who cannot write back, who cannot stop this crime in Massachusetts, I must find different people to write to. So I am writing to the Senate committees, a few of the committees, and I will be publishing my letters as soon as the letter is off in the mail, which is email. I can't even trust the mailman. I did initially start printing out some of my letters and sticking it in my mailbox. I can't leave the house. I can't leave the house because I'm being vandalized. The house is being broken into and vandalized almost instantly. I've stopped taking walks. So I'm literally stuck in the house. It's been 2 years, since August 23, that I've been stuck in the house right now, unable to go out. Because of the vandals here, the vandals and saboteurs. They're also breaking in and attacking my plants almost every day. Complete criminal behavior. 2 little cherry trees that I had replanted in the backyard have disappeared one by one. All of the water lilies I planted have been removed. Several zinnias that I planted were removed. This is this year. Last year there were other thefts. Sunflowers that I've planted that sprouted have been removed. Clematis that I planted that it sprouted has been removed, all by the Chen Lemmings, I suspect. And I posted the pictures of how all of the fruit trees in our backyard have been positively slashed at the bottom, right at the bottom of the trunk, right close to the ground. That's extreme torment and trauma for the plant, for the tree. And radiation burns of an arborvitae in the back, a new gold cypress that I had. It was just about 5 or 6 inches high, burned completely. The second one with it is also being burned. And then the hawthorn berries completely burnt by the mosquitoes. One of the redbud trees, which has beautiful heart-shaped leaves in the back, burned by the mosquitoes. Criminal behavior. I don't care if the CIA came up with some crappy program to subject people non-stop to harassive stimuli and then see how they react. I didn't sign up for any of these projects. I'm not a volunteer. Neither am I a criminal that you can subject me to something. No one can subject me to anything. I demand that the CIA, the DOD, and the rest of them remove me from these criminal projects. Their names are going to be in the mud, and they are in the mud already. I will be publishing extensively, and I think I need to publish their names. Their names need to be known. It's not this administration, it's not the last one. It's about 3 to 4 to 5 administrations back that it started. In the 90s, in the mid-90s, around 93 is when it started. It hit me in 2013, but I think it's been going on for others since the mid-90s. Since 1993, when they had the Classified Non-Lethal Conference in New Mexico, Los Alamos, and then in 94, when they signed their DOD CIA memo. Sorry, not DOD CIA, it was the JPSG, right? Joint Program Steering Group. It was the Department of Defense and the Department of Justice. Janet Reno was the Attorney General, and John Dutch was the Secretary of Defense. They signed a memorandum of understanding to jointly develop weapons together, which is why NIJ has now published a bunch of grants showing that it's actually experimenting with so-called non-lethal weapons, which are radiation weapons, on the bodies of Americans. And DHS has published the information on controlled equipment, and the Secretary of State has published the information on the understandings with different countries to bring other countries' researchers in here with their controlled equipment to use on us. Why? So that everybody knows what each other's weapons are. So who are you using these weapons on? They're using these weapons on people they're calling activists, journalists, people they want to deter. It's crime, it's absolute crime, it's absolute atrocity. This isn't consent to govern here. There's no consent to government over here. There's no consent whatsoever, and everybody involved must be named. Through all of these administrations, I think, and they need to stop these crimes. Anyway, news report number 13, August 14, 2025. This is RamolaD, Pine Haven, Quincy, Massachusetts.